Ricky Feather. I build custom bike frames. Yeah, leaving school I did a welding apprenticeship. I moved to Leeds a couple of years later and worked a bunch of jobs in factories fabricating. It was like real heavy duty fabrication, like Arctic lorry trailers and all sorts of stuff. I mean, just a ton of stuff, all different things, a bunch of sheet metal work as well. I've always rode bikes, so it kind of just it made sense that building bikes, using my metal skills. When I quit my job to go away, gave me a bit of time to think about exactly what I wanted to do when I got back and stuff. That's kind of where it all started, really. The biggest step I had was it was a couple of years ago at the York Cycle Rally. Dave Yates were doing a demonstration on frame building, and that was pretty much like when I was about to build my first frame, really. When I was practicing my brazing, and I stood and watched him braze a joint for probably about 20 minutes or so. Just stood and watched him doing his thing, and then came straight up here and did my first lug joint after watching him doing one, and worked perfect. So I used brass for quite a few months, and then I used silver, which was another thing I had to learn to do. So silver soldering, I'm completely self-taught with that, and fillet brazing as well. I'd never done any of that, and never seen anyone do it. So I think everything's come along really well. Like in 3 years, it's not even 3 years yet. In fact, I've built 50 frames now. That one up there is my first frame I built, a black one. I guess I've sort of explored quite a few areas in terms of styling of the aesthetic kind of thing on bikes. Like I have always really liked art, kind of really always liked art and design and stuff, but were never really any good at it. You know, if you saw one of my drawings, you wouldn't order a bike from me, put it that way. But yeah, and it was just a good outlet for me to just be able to kind of get down some things that I had on my mind and put them into my work. Personally, my favourite thing to do is lugged bikes. I just love carving away at lugs and, you know, stainless steel lugs, and I think that's really where the craftsmanship comes in. Is when you start like working and just playing around, carving stuff up and doing your own thing, doing your own design, kind of creating your own style. I've been trying quite a lot to not take any outside influence lately and just work off the top of my own head. Whereas when I first started, I guess that was just from my background, it was real difficult to sort of instantly come up with your own ideas. Whereas now I never design, apart from frame geometry, I don't design anything. I just go with the flow and do it as it kind of happens. Seems you get the best results that way. And I think now I'm meeting a lot more of my customers. It's a real good way of me to be able to sort of express myself as well as them in what I do. I feel like, you know, like individual characters can really sort of sway which direction you go with the styling of the bike. You know, like individual touches are what sets it apart from everything else, and that's really important to me, I think, to sort of do something that the customer is going to be absolutely, you know, blown away by, because it's just theirs and it's no one else's. So yeah, Max came up from London, and we had a bit of a chat and stuff about what I was going to do and sort of what direction we were going to go down. I think we wanted the bike to be good as possible in every aspect, really. In terms of like the fit, the ride characteristic, he wanted something that was sort of going to be good for these long distance rides that they plan on doing, but not be too sluggish, or, you know, he wanted it to be able to move when he wanted it to. So we just came up with a real nice kind of geometry and stuff for that. In terms of like the frame, we kind of wanted we wanted it to have quite a modern look, I guess. But because I really like doing the lugged frames, I really wanted to do a lugged bike, simply because that's kind of the road that I'm trying to push my work down. So yeah, we went for like the lugged frame, but with an oversized head tube, so we could use some modern carbon forks. We wanted it to have a real clean look, clean lines. Like we've gone for like the internal cable routing. And then we're gonna do like a wraparound seat stays, because we want it to have enough clearance for mudguards and what have you. Got to get the mudguard and actually alter the mudguard so that it works on the carbon forks. And we use stainless steel. We used XCR because it's not quite as stiff as 953 for these long rides, but we used stainless because we thought it'd be a good option because it's going to be kind of an all-terrain bike. It's going to be getting pretty dirted up, and we didn't want there to be any kind of problem with corrosion or anything. So the carving under the bottom bracket shell represents the area that Max lived in France for a while. I think that's where he did a lot of cycling. So I wanted it to have a personal touch for the rider as well. I mean, like, I can't see myself doing anything else now. It's my passion. It's what I love doing, and you know, there's just no way I could end up back where I was. It's just you've got to be really driven. You've got to be really passionate and patient. There's a lot of learning, and it didn't happen very quick either.